And here's the other one, Noah Nixon. Alley-oop, Cooper!
Alice Brown closing the stagger on Bulgaria. She is burning up the turn.
Here's a drive hit deep, way back in right center. Well hit and gone. A grand slam home run for Darrell Emmett.
This man won the 120-yard high hurdles title at the state meet in a school record time of 14.1 seconds. He continued to race well after his college career ended and established many high marks in masters track and field events. In 2014, he was inducted in the USA Track and Field Masters Hall of Fame. He served as an assistant coach for PCC Track and Field and was instrumental in guiding a remarkable 3 consecutive state champions in the 400 hurdles in 1975, 76, and 77. Please welcome 2023 Hall of Fame inductee, Walt Butler.
We haven't had a large family, the Butlers, living on Winona. And there was Roosevelt, which he was a policeman. He got killed at an early age. Rosetta, Alame, Cleolder, Elvira, and W.H. My mom and dad was fair. You know, my dad didn't drink, my mom didn't drink, my dad didn't cuss, and neither did my mom. We used to go down where the rich people was down below California, and they used to pay us to come by after school to eat the fruit because they was old and they, the birds would make a mess. So they would, give us dime and a quarter and let us take a bag home and just tell us to eat. We used to do that 3 or 4 times, and that was so fun. They said, well, we're gonna make us some money for eating. So we would tell our parents we got the money for eating, and then they just wouldn't believe it. They just would just shake their head. I had a paper route, and I had the good route. When I said the good route, I had Orange Grove. And then you get a paper route. Christmas time, the person who was in charge of everything, they gave us envelopes with to us to address and put in the papers in December. So then we would start porching the papers in November, and they would put money and send it back to us. And that would go on November, December, and January. And then at the end of the month, back out of the line again. So then, the guys who wanted to, work, we done good yearly. We ended up getting a lot of money. If you have 80 customers, or 90, and they always was giving you $1, we used to go to First AME when we was young. I can still remember the first Christmas play I was in. I was defending Jesus Christ. They wanted to hang him. I got him off. I was using words I couldn't spell. I didn't know what they totally meant, but I was using words like audacity, the attitude. And I dare you guys to take this, treat this man this way. He doesn't deserve it. I was just going on and on and on. I had my bow tie on, white shirt, and somebody loaned me a briefcase. I was sitting down there, standing up, screaming once in a while. Had everybody, the church was packed, had them crying. Football circles, the north and the south. So they were divided up. Elementary school was divided up. So everybody got to play the football circle. Was really a big thing. And the school got to keep their money. So that's why the whole, if there was 300 kids at Cleveland, all 300 went. 300 students, 300 or 400 grandparents, cousins, nieces, uncles. So that's why there were so many people at the football circus, and we had a ball.
Football circus was around when I was at McKinley Junior High School. That was my first introduction, even though we played the other junior high schools in the Pasadena Unified School District, like Marshall, Washington, La Cañada, Wilson, and Elliott. You know, we had tackle football, but we would play the football circus before the turkey tussle game with Mir and PHS.
I wasn't supposed to play because I had broke my leg in the 8th grade. But my brother and I was playing on the team. So then, so they kept saying, Butler with the ball, Butler with the ball. But if McKinley didn't run the score up, PHS couldn't beat Mir. So we had to run the score up for the South to win. So this was already, had been told to us, you know, by the coaches. So we was down there rolling. So then they kept saying Butler with the ball. So my parents didn't know that I had forced that signature for me to play. And I'm playing dumb, because, you know, they says, W, how could you have the ball all the time? You know, they didn't know it was, you know, he was, because we ran split backs. So then my picture came out in the paper. WH, which was my competition. Unfair because he was a year older than me. But everybody put us on the same level. You got to listen to that. Your brother is better than you. Your brother is better than you. And people always ask me, you going to beat your brother? I say, I'm going to beat him. I'm going to beat them all.
How many black students were there at Pasadena High School?
It was less than 20. And one was my brother and one was my sister. I was unhappy with Pasadena High School because the coaches wasn't right. And very few of the teachers. And me, the type of person that wasn't backing down, so I had run-ins after run-in. But the principal, she was a fair lady. Miss Comments, her husband owned a mortuary in Pasadena, and I should have been voted as a senior athlete of the year. And I'm leading the nation. And not athlete of the year. That was wrong. So I told the principal, She says, Wally, I'm going to straighten it out. So they gave me a special assembly and gave me the most achieved athlete of the year. I knew that I wanted to go to college because it was the thing to do. In fact, I'm the only one who went to college in my family out of 9 kids. See, back then, you got out of high school, either you got married or you went into service. I had people that I wanted to race and beat. So I had to go to college to do that because I got knocked around by a few people. And I said, I'm going to get him. Not in a vindictive way. I mean, athletes, especially track and field athletes, getting beat is not that bad. But you get a shot at that same person maybe 10 times in 1 year. You know, dual meets, league prelim, league finals. So you have a chance. So you think about the ones that did beat you. You know you're gonna see them eventually. You're gonna meet up with them at some big meets. You know, where there's 36, 40 of the best athletes when they run 2 sets of prelims and quarterfinals to get to the finals. So you're gonna bump into that guy that put a knot on your head. I led all the way. I got beat once by Sid Nicholas. The same guy beat me in the CIF because I got scared. He went to Costa Junior College. I got scared again. That's why he beat me. I ran a slow time. Then, league prelims, I won. League final, I won. Southern Cal prelims. Then, 10 days later, the state track meet. It was 2 of them. We were supposed to take 14 guys. Only 2 of us made it. Me and Dave Morris. I said, Dave, what can we do? And it was drizzling rainy. All the bad boys was there. I said, Nicholas not beating me tonight. The meet was at night. 120 yards. I ran 14-1 in the rain. It was December the 23rd. I was down at Jugger's and Grocery and had filled out the application. So they're looking for Walter Butler. And they thought I was white. So he looked and I said, no, I'm Walter Butler. So the people in the office, they all was looking. So they said, the job been filled. I said, whoa, wait a minute. I majored in outdoor advertising to build displays, and I have my portfolio. I'm very good at it. So then, the old man came in. He said, young man, you have quite an attitude. I said, I grew up in an integrated neighborhood, and everything's supposed to be the same. And you don't want to hire me because I'm black. He let it rotate in his mind. Then they said, when can you start? the Rams had me in camp. They drafted me a couple other guys to trade to get what they need. You know, which I figured out later on was no big thing for me. I had got a new car and some money when things came through with the Rams, because they had a bunch of them racist guys. They was dogging me out, but I took it. The PA system goes out through the whole building. They're looking for Walt Butler. Los Angeles Rams looking for Walt Butler. So I said, I'm gonna get him. So I kept playing dumb for about 3 or 4 days. So finally, I picked up the phone. I didn't quit working till I rubbed it in. And I would drive up in my new car. I was working at Cleveland Elementary, across the street from where Mac lived. And I knew who he was. I knew he worked for Helms Bakery Company. So he knew of me from running track. And so he asked me, did I need any help? And I would go over there singing the blues to Mac. Mac says, Walt, hang in there, go get better. I say, when? And he says, how's your writing coming? I say, it's coming okay. I've been winning. Hasn't been easy. He says, I tell you what, you seem to be an okay guy. And I'm gonna help you. I said, help me? I said, you're too old to run for me. He says, no, I'm gonna help you. I said, all you gotta do is what I tell you to do. We just kept on being buddies and friends, and my success is because of Mac. And most of all, the key to it, when he said, do what I tell you to do. Skip he was All-American DB with the SC. So the blacks was crying about no black football coach, which fell out of my department. That's campus unrest. So I already knew this because I had 62 students working for me out on the campus. I signed their paycheck. So they reported to me on things I should know, and things that I should know, they took care. If they got it behind the 8 ball by taking care of some of my problems, they came to me. They didn't go to the president of the college or the other administrator. The buck stopped at Walt Butler's desk.
That was a very turbulent time in America, not only at PCC or United or California, but throughout the country. You know, we had Vietnam protests, we had black unity, black power struggles, and so forth. There was a lot of unrest on the campus.
Walt was given the opportunity, by the community, and they believed in Walt Butler. It was during the first Panther movement, Pasadena, and all the cats that I went to school with, and they walked out, hit the cafeteria, and then Walt was brought in about a week later to work with the young brothers. And he did a great job, and that's what I remember about Walt. Everybody respected him, all the young guys respected him, and he kind of squashed that thing. So they did a good job. They had hindsight to hire a good young man.
New revelation that my father was a deacon there, him and his brother. So I started going there. So I got involved. I helped to bring about a few changes, like getting the building painted, inside, outside, new carpet, and I even put on a production to raise some money. In fact, this was 30 years ago. In fact, I still have some of the tickets that I printed. I think it said Bubba's first gospel production. It's kind of fun, but I didn't miss a Sunday. I could have a track meet in Texas. Either I left and came home that night. I was on a plane at 6 o'clock in the morning. And it was, at some point, it was like a spiritual game I was playing with myself. I can't miss. I don't want to miss. And I made it a point to be there, you know, and I don't know if it was because my dad was involved, but it was just important to me not to miss. First, I wasn't able to run because I was a pro athlete. So then, but I was sneaking in running anyway, but I would never run as hard and fast. I just would think and duck around, you know, get second and third, maybe win, just playing around. But once, about 31, once they cleared ex-pro football players or basketball players, that they can run in AAU track and field, I dropped a hammer on them. Boom! He says, man, what are you taking? Are you on steroids? I says, no. Then I had to bring out clippings from when I was younger, how fast I ran. They said, oh, you that guy. I said, yeah, I'm that guy.
I met Walt Butler in the spring of 1978 as a recruit at Pasadena City College for the track team. He was certainly an inspiration to me because of his work ethic and his goals and aspirations to be fit and healthy. The benefit for myself and my teammates having Walt around was that he provided the enthusiasm and the encouragement that allowed us to go on and become state champions that year.
Most coaches come out there with their little whistle, whatever, and tell you what you're going to run. Walt liked to challenge for people first and beat them. And if you beat Walt the first time, Walt would challenge you again until he beat you. Then he would work you out. That was Walt Butler.
I became the head track coach in 1974 at PCC. In 1975, we had a really good hurdler named Grant Niederhaus, who won the state championship and also set a national record. In 1976, I had a hurdler I brought in from Houston, Texas, named John Rudd, who broke Niederhaus's record and ran 50.6. In 1977, we had another state champion hurdler, Sylvester Strong, who won the state championship. And I give Walt a lot of credit for really doing a great job with my hurdlers.
Dude never stretched, never. That was the first thing that I remembered about Walt. Very jovial. He used to drive this Corvette that was USC colors. I don't know if it was purple, or I don't know if it was cardinal, but it looked cardinal and gold. And he would jump out of that vehicle and immediately come to the track and challenge people. I was fortunate to work with Walt as an assistant coach. We all know Walt. Walt knew his stuff. And everybody gave Walt his space, respected him. Walt's a hurdle coach, and that's who you work with.
Walt Butler was my personal coach, per se, for the 400-meter hurdles, the 110 high hurdles, so that was a specialty of his. So we used to get out there, and it was fun. It was fun. Walt would get out there like he was on the track team. And he'd work out with us and train us and teach you technique as far as being a hurdler. I kind of owe Walt everything. All during the summer, hard training like cross country stuff. Hated cross country. I wanted to just run hurdles. So we get past all that, and now come all the different drills that Walt knew every drill you could think of as far as hurdling goes. And I was interested in all those drills. I got out there and practice, worked hard, trained, practice, worked hard, trained. Walt get out there and race us, you know, and I'm like, I ain't finna let this old man beat me. But he was right there. Walk or run, even as an older cat. So, you know, long story short with Walt was kind of like my one-on-one with the rest of the hurdlers. Along came, you know, toward the end of the season, when it was getting better, Walt would get on me when he saw me slacking, and he'd get on you hard too, you know. And so it came about where in that 77 season, he kind of saw about halfway that I got something here, you know. So, and then me, myself too, I said, I got something here, you know. So just hand in hand. And that came along with, at the end of that year, winning the state championship. The highlight of my life with Walt Butler was me winning the national, because I was #1 in the nation, junior college, you know. And me and Walt won that, you know, but I give all the credit to him. And but I learned work ethic through Walt. You know, and the work ethic that I learned because I watched him work hard, and a lot of it was, I was not finna let this old man beat me.
We were young, and we didn't know really about coaching until you go through it yourself and you learn later on in life. But we believed in Walt Butler. You know, again, I give credit to this man. It took me until about 3 months ago, I got the real story on Walt and how the opportunity happened to fall in his lap. But the man was blessed. The reason why he opened up that store, one day on the track, Pasadena. Now, we all know Walt was built like the Rock of Gibraltar and carried himself well. There was this young guy, I'll never forget that, he kept pestering Walt. And Walt, my God, ignored him, and the cat kept getting in Mr. Butler's face. Finally, Walt said, I can't take it. And he hit the guy, and that was all she wrote. And the next day, Walt was fired. But it gave him another opportunity to step himself up, lift himself up, and create something no one would have ever thought of.
I worked for Puma part-time, handling all the junior college athletes, track athletes, giving the elite one shoes. So I had a feel of it, so I started selling Pumas out of my car. And so I wrote up several business plans. And the only person that would give me an account was Puma, because I already had a relationship with them and Converse. And then I had elementary school around the corner. I had everybody cut off from the Foot Locker and Second Soul and all that.
It was definitely an inspiration for me, being self-employed myself. I never knew while he was a coach amongst us that he had aspirations to go into business. I looked up one day and Walt Butler Shoes were here. So exciting for me and, you know, the other fellows that I grew up with here in Pasadena, especially those who were on that team in '78, to realize that, you know, here's this guy who we looked at one way, actually turning over enterprise now, you know, and providing a good or a source of goods that everybody in the community can appreciate. You know, we here in the African American community really are about our sneakers, especially then. And for having the ability to go to a black man and get whatever brand shoe we wanted, you know, at a great price, by the way, you know, was awesome.
That was the first African American sports store in Pasadena, because it was all controlled by Carlos Sporting Goods and all the whiteys of the past. So what Walt did was broke tradition. He set standards for young African Americans that I got to give that man credit. He deserved every prop in the world. And Walt helped everybody that walked in his store. I don't care who you were, I don't care what color you were, Walt was going to help you. He would give you a break every chance. He, you know, that's why people kept coming back to Walt. If you didn't have the money, I'm going to work with you. Or if you were a good athlete, Walt will straight up give you some shoes. You know, straight up give you some shoes. And like I say, he was a self-made man.
I decided I wanted to make basketballs. All those cats, they said, "No, you gonna do this." So them cats, they wasn't interested because you need some big money. I said, man, oh man, because they're made in Pakistan. So I finally got it squared away. And so soccer balls is the #1 ball in the world. See, you guys think I'm blowing smoke. It's not football, it's soccer. So that was a great business, being in the manufacturing soccer balls and volleyballs. And like I said, on my logo it said, "Only the best is Butler."
What I find most fascinating about Walt Butler is me being a Chicago boy, not really being from out here. Anytime I would go anywhere and someone says they're from Pasadena, first person I always said, "Hey, do you know Walt Butler?" Everybody knows Butler. I think, in fact, Butler might have been more popular than Jackie Robinson.
Walt has always been one to reach out to those in the community. I thought he did a fantastic job once he became a businessman in Pasadena, that he had an open door to those that were, you know, that wanted to do business with a African-American entrepreneur. And I think Walt always reached out to the local schools, local community leaders, and he made himself available to all of the folks that were wanting to do and make Pasadena a better place.
I have 3 kids, and actually 4, 1 son. And, you know, we've had a few problems, and we worked them out. In fact, my daughter was just here a few days ago, and I was my younger one, so I was given an economical lecture. She says, Dad, it isn't necessary. I'm pretty good at managing money. You taught me well. So then I said to myself, I guess I did. She's 30. She teaches middle school in Atlanta. She has a brand new gated community condo and a brand new car when I went down to see her. I have a building on Washington and Lake, and I've been leasing it to young black people. The question was asked to me, why do I do it? One reason, because we don't really have any black people in business, and to give the people or the person that leasing or renting my place an opportunity without being nailed to the wall rent-wise. So it's just an ideal to keep some black business flowing in Pasadena. In fact, in Pasadena, we used to own a large amount of gas stations, nightclubs, restaurants, all kinds of places, cleaners. I just wish we would stop selling the houses that our grandparents leave to them and their parents leave to them.
Please welcome 2023 Hall of Fame inductee, Walt Butler.
Wow, what can I say except I have a lot of friends out there, and appreciate you guys coming. Guys like Nita House and all those guys, Rudd, and I like to say something to all of our, hope Skip's here. Skip and I been boxing and fighting ever for over 60 years, but we never hit each other. So what I'm really trying to say, I wish the world would do that, and it would be a better place. And for working here, I worked in student activity and coached in the afternoon. So basically, I've been talking all my life, earning my living, but most of all, I learned a great deal by being here. And once again, all my friends out there, I want to thank you, and thank you. It's been a long journey. Thank you much.
We have the opportunity to meet, to greet, to fellowship with, and so when we have that opportunity, we like to call it, give us our flowers when we can smell our flowers. And so that is what we are saying to Mr. Butler, who has been a staple on our campus this year, who we totally appreciate. And so we didn't want to just say thank you, Walt. So if you look to your left, our artist and resident, Mr. John, has created something that we think we're going to add to your collection of goodies in our box, in the front. So ready? Go for it, John. So, John, just a little bit, right? It was created out of coffee as to represent that longevity, that strength, that black strength, right? In a good cup of coffee. So we appreciate Walt, we appreciate you. We love you.
To see him being enshrined over there at his middle school, you know, sit in his living room and listen to the many accounts of things that he did when he was at McKinley, and to see all the memorabilia and the pictures, you know, that enshrine him in the hallway, is special. I thank God that I was at that assembly that day, when, you know, the announcement was made that Walt was going to have his place in history for McKinley Middle School.
Now, when you see him in the store, you're going to say, hey, Mr. Walt Butler, thank you for coming to my school. Hey, Mr. Walt Butler, I heard what you said. I'm working on my grades.
I'm riding down this, I'm in my 66 convertible Mustang. I don't know how I ended up on Raymond and Delmar, where I learned how to play football. We used to play there all the time. All the kids would get together. And there was this homeless guy came across the walk. He says, could you spare a quarter or something I'm eating in 3 days. And I looked at him and said, kind of laughed, said, are you sure? He says, I'm sure. I'm really hungry. I said, okay, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I want you to go over there and sit down on the bench, and I'll be back. He says, no, you won't. I said, yes, I will. Then it was Popeye, you was getting 2 pieces of chicken for $1. This is like 10 or 12 years ago. And I said, I could spend $10 and feed 10 people, individual bags. So what I did, I got 12 bags. It was only $12. So I came back. He was sitting there. And he says, you really came back? I said, yeah. So I gave him 2 bags. I said, this is one for yesterday and one for today. And I might be back tomorrow. And so I parked my car and walked up and handed out the rest of to other people. Then I said to myself, wait a minute, Walt, things are going pretty good. I could spend $20 3 or 4 times a week and feed 20 people. So I said, oh. So that's how I started helping the people on the bench.
He's been a champion all his life. You know, the man was breaking records and competing with people, you know, 2 and 3 years older than him and winning. He's just the consummate champion. God blessed him with a unique physique and ability to, you know, run the hurdles like he did, play football like he did, and then the heart and the insight to coach up others for decades, you know, here, to be winners too. I don't know anybody else in life who has accomplished all the things that Walt has accomplished, not only on an individual basis for himself, satisfied his goal in order to that he achieved the championships that he's achieved, but again, inspiring and training others to be like him. It's just something that I haven't seen combined in just one individual.
I like winning, and it's easy to strive toward winning when you're right. Do the right thing. And this is one of my shortcomings in life. Doing the right thing is important to me, even if I suffer a consequence. And get the short end of the stick, I can say I was trying to do the right thing. I just didn't have enough help.